Hi everyone, Adam Steele here, and today I'm taking another look at the VSX headphones from Slate. I've had these a while, and I do use them quite a lot to reference and check mixes. I don't use them all the time, but they are really quite an invaluable tool for checking your low end, checking your high end, checking your space. And now they've got a new expansion pack coming out that is already released, the Mike Dean expansion pack. It's got a set of near field NS10s without a sub, and it's got this incredible big main monitor system that is a massive sound but without being blown out like some of the clubs. Now I should probably mention that a lot of you will have seen a video that I did that was a little bit critical of Slate and VSX a while back. That was mostly to do with some production issues that were there, and they are now resolved. There's an entirely new model that's got an entirely new design. And so that's all water under the bridge. I think they've done really well to come back from that, make sure that everything is now perfect. And so, yes, if you've seen that video, that is now water under the bridge. And just to add to that, yes, this is a sponsored video from the Slate company. And I would not have said yes to this video if that wasn't water under the bridge and all sorted and the company weren't doing well and doing right. I mean, their customer service has always been fantastic. I even said that in the previous video. So yeah, they are doing more than well enough that I'm happy to wave the Slate flag. So now I'm going to be on the road with Monuments, which is why I've got a whole new cable for these, which has got a 6.3mm end on it. And I'm going to be taking this on tour with an audio interface and my new MacBook, and I'm going to be checking mixes, doing video editing and a lot of tweaking in the back of a tour bus. So let's see how I get on with that. I'm in a tour bus, and I'm with the guys from Monuments, and I am mixing with these on here. So I've got the lovely M2 Mac, and these have been great so far. I've just mixed pretty much an entire album. I've got some of the finer points to do, but that's going to take kind of a non-noisy van. But I've been using Stephen's Mix Room, which was my go-to from the update of the app, and I've also been playing with the Mike Dean Studio, which I've got on preset too. In the far field here, the mains are incredible. And here's what I've been doing. And I'm gonna have to disable it so that you guys can hear what's actually going on. So I'll completely disable that because I've been using a pretty weird setup here. I've got an Audion ID4, which is powering the headphones properly. And you can see on the screen here, I've got... And so I've done this entire crazy mix here with all these channels and using those two and referencing on the Archon midfields, the HD650s, and Mike Dean's car, which has really kind of showed me that the vocals were a little loud there. You might have heard the brass is a little loud, but I'm going to be balancing those once the vehicle stops. But the fact that I've been able to do a lot of this in the van with something that's reliable means that when I get to where I'm going, these will have been indispensable. So a few questions that I've been asked to answer include, what rooms do I usually use in my workflow? So I usually use Stephen's Mix Room because those barefoot monitors are great. I often use the Archon midfields as well, which is a very similar feel. I like that solidity of the bass and quite a large amount of low end without being blown out and boomy. But then I also use the car as a check a lot because, especially in rock and metal, if your guitars are not in the right frequency range, you go to the car and they just vanish or they overtake everything. And so that mid-range focus there is really interesting and really important. Another question is, have my mixes got better since I've been using VSX? And yeah, they have. Because it's, again, I use these as a checking tool a lot of the time. because the systems that I use in normal life, I'm so used to that those are my go-tos. But this room isn't perfect. My other headphone system setup is definitely not perfect. And those have flaws and weaknesses that the VSX just steps around and shows me, yeah, okay, your mix is good, but have you heard this problem? And I go, oh, and I fix that problem. And I go back to the other systems and I can't hear a difference on these systems. But what really is important is those differences that got highlighted. I then go and reference on, the phone test, the actual car test, delivering to other people, and what would have been a problem is not there. So the fact that I'm not getting any problems when I send things to clients means that there's very little in the way of revisions. So these are worth their weight in gold because I don't want to spend my life doing revisions. And an interesting question is, what do I think of this compared to other headphone systems? Because for me, I generally do use a different headphone system as my main mix setup. Studio B is my home mix setup, and I do use another brand with a balanced headphone amp, with high quality DACs and all that kind of stuff. It's not really better than VSX, it's just what I know. So that's what I go with most of the time. But if I hadn't spent 15 years getting used to that setup, VSX would be my go-to. As it is, this is still an invaluable tool for me. It's different. Like the low end on these is not overly attacky. It's not going to make my eyes water. But then when I go to the club model, that does open up a big blooming low end with lots of reverb and lots of space, which is how a club feels if you've ever been in a big club. It's hard to put your finger on, but once you know like you're in that space, problems stand out very quickly. And you can hear where elements of a mix are kind of stepping on each other's toes in a way that you just can't do with monitors, even the best monitors, and the best headphones that don't have the VSX modeling system. It does things that, because of the time domain based stuff that's in there, it gives me an idea of what's not working on a time domain, which is hard to describe. That kind of means that, like, if I've got a hi-hat that sounds fine on one system, but on another it's kind of stepping on the snare, that kind of thing can be absolutely invaluable to know that I just have a frequency I need to notch and move on. And by doing that for 20 seconds, that can save me an hour of stressing about, why does this sound good on this system, but not on this system? Why does this person's car sound great? Why does this person's, MacBook sound terrible? Etc., etc. Eliminating problems quick saves me time. And saving me time is a big thing, because I don't have a lot of it. I should probably mention at the end of this video that if you've seen this little detail on this pair of headphones where there's kind of a big blob of glue here, this is actually my first set of VSX that kind of suffered, and I do have a replacement pair that work perfectly well. I left those at home because I'm an idiot, so for the purposes of this video, I'm holding the ones with the glue on. So yes, these have been replaced, but I wanted to make sure I had these here, so yeah, don't worry about that. But yeah, like I said, they've replaced everything now, and it's all fine.